Welcome to your Thursday Tip Talk video. It's Thursday. We've been here since Monday. It feels like a long week, but we're endeavoring to move through it. Today's Tip Talk is not necessarily about success academically, but success in school and success in life. So today we want to talk about how to disagree respectfully, because we understand you're not going to agree with everything that you hear, but there are also some right ways to disagree and some very disrespectful ways to disagree. So we're going to talk about some tips. The first of which, you're going to go?
Yes,
first.
Okay. And we want to share this because we know this is an issue that affects everyone.
Yeah.
Almost everyone can recall a time in which they had an argument that could have been a civil disagreement, maybe. So that's what we're going to talk about, is how to prevent arguments. Let's talk about civil discourse, conversation, discussion. And one big tip is to focus on facts, okay? If you're having a discussion or conversation about a particular issue of any sort, focus on what is actually happening, what has actually happened that is verifiable, facts that can be proven or at least illustrated by example, and by fact I mean something that you can find a source for, not just one source ideally at least 3 sources of differing perspectives would be great. And I know it's not always easy to do that in a conversation, but if it's after school in particular, pull your phone out, Google it, and be like, this seems to have happened because more than one person is saying that it did. Here's a video, things like that. Okay, so focus on facts and no personal attacks. Okay, if someone disagrees with you, that does not mean that they are dumb. That does not mean that they have no clue what they're talking about. That does not mean that what they have to say is invalid or that you should be putting them down for their perspective. Okay? And when you start personally attacking someone, that's when your conversation or discussion can definitely turn into a contentious argument. And you don't want that to happen if you're trying to show your point of view.
Yes.
Okay?
All right. So now, me and I statements. I love I statements. This is how they work. When you want to tell someone that you didn't love something that just happened. So instead of saying, you pissed me off when you called my skirt ugly, you could say, it hurt my feelings, or I felt disregarded from my clothing choice. Anytime you can craft a sentence that does not use you or their name, then you're putting the blame not squarely on them so they don't get so defensive. That's what I statements avoid. It's really, really hard because what you want to say is, I hate it when you do that.
Right. And which is not an I statement.
It's not an I statement. It's like, I feel put upon when asked to do such and such.
Right.
I feel neglected when no one invites me somewhere. So you want to use, and it takes a lot of work, and it'll take a lot of practice. But they're very, very handy.
Or even instead of you're wrong, I disagree.
Yes.
Okay.
Active listening, this is really hard for us, all of us, the entire planet. This is hard. Because what happens as soon as someone starts their argument, you're crafting why it's wrong. You're like, no, but. You really need to just step back and stop and listen. And then it's like, okay, I would like a rebuttal. Let me present my point of view. And then if it takes you a second to craft it, that's fine. Just ask them to wait. But don't plan your attack the entire time they're talking, because they could say something incredibly valid that you completely missed.
And part of active listening is looking at the person who is talking, rather than not looking at them, turning your back on them, walking away, scrolling through your phone, things like that. The other person knows you're listening if you're looking at them, nodding, okay, I see where you come from, yes, okay, right. Things like that. That's actively listening. Sometimes, while you're actively listening, if the other person is saying things that you disagree strongly with and or anger you, maybe they're not playing by the rules and they're doing personal attacks and things like that, remember to breathe and try to stay calm, okay? Because when emotions get involved in discussions, then sometimes it just goes off the rails and it turns into a verbal fight or an argument, and that's not what you're trying to do, okay? You're trying to have a discussion. So breathe and stay calm. If you cannot, then maybe you need to take a break, and know when to walk away.
Yes.
Know when to say, okay, we need to agree to disagree. Agree to disagree, because it's not about winning, okay? Having a differing opinion from someone else, again, it doesn't necessarily mean that one of you has to walk away being right, okay?
Yeah.
Being the one who won the argument. It is important in all of your life to be able to have a differing opinion with someone else and then not feel compelled that you have to change their mind, that they
Yes.
have to agree with you. You can agree to disagree and then move on to something else. Be like, I enjoyed our conversation. I see we're coming from two different places. Thank you for listening to me and sharing your point of view. Now let's talk about the basketball game last night or something else.
Right.
Okay. But yes, we feel like this is a very important, timely topic for your entire life. Okay?
Yeah, because as colleagues, we do the same thing. We don't always have the same opinions about things that happen in the library, things that happen in our school in general. You can agree to disagree. You can respectfully disagree and present your side of the story. And you can do all of these without losing friends or respect or getting so angry you can't talk to people in the hallway anymore. It can be done, and it does take practice. That's why it's important to know the tips. So maybe this week, pick one of the things we said and work on it. Just one. Just one. Maybe the easy one, like the one that you're already kind of good at. And then next week you can work on the next one. They're definitely skills that you've built. It's not something you're going to get overnight.
Exactly. And this is slightly unrelated, but look at this lovely shirt. Miss Davis, cute. I think Miss Davis still has some of these. If you're interested, it's a nice long sleeve t-shirt. They're $15. The Psychology Club is selling them. They have a couple extras, but they're fantastic. So if you want one, talk to Miss Davis, and she might be able to hook you up with one of those. But yes, keep on conversating, people, because when we're not talking, we can't further our understanding of each other, and we can't grow as people. So anyway, that's all we've got for today, and we'll see you on Monday with some book talks.